Looking forward to the rain today. But one of the things, like I said, I love the Buffalo summers. And one of the biggest things that I remember when I was a kid was going to Martin Luther King Park and watching the Randy Smith's basketball game. Now I have love for the game of basketball. I'm kind of tall, so when I was a young girl, I used to love to play basketball. I have three brothers. I don't have any sisters, so I was always in the mix with the boys. Hanging out with them and doing everything the boys was, whether it was playing football, whether it was playing basketball, hockey on skates, whatever. So I have a love for the game. So today I have a guest here that is pretty exciting, doing some wonderful, amazing things here in Buffalo, New York with kids. And kids is my passion. I love kids, and especially kids that are kind of going through different things, and they just need to turn around. And this generation really does need a turnaround. And it's so hard for a lot of parents to connect with their kids. So sometimes you need different programs and different mentors to help turn that around. So today I have a guest here, Mr. Kenneth Ferguson, and he is with Total Package 716. He is going to tell us how he got started, how he works with children program, and he is doing something amazing. And I'm definitely going to look forward to what he's going to tell us all about. So Kenneth, tell the people who you are.
Well, thank you for having me. I really appreciate you inviting me on the show, taking advantage of the opportunity to really speak to Total Package. Total Package is an idea that I've always had, that I want to just make a difference with working with youth and being able to build young men. I started with young men as far as the program is concerned, be able to take young men and develop basketball players on and off the court, academically, social and emotionally, and also be able to develop their ball games to give them opportunity to play college basketball. It's not about going pro. It's about getting opportunity. If you are able to earn a scholarship, then so be it. But if it's not, then if you still want to play college basketball, then the opportunity is there for you. And that's what I try to provide.
Yes, because I know a lot of times when kids are growing up, they really look at it, they have a love for the game. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And that's the name of our show, Love for the Game. Mm-hmm. But what people don't understand, that there is so many different mechanics as to just running more than just the basketball. Oh, yeah. There's personality, personality critiques that need to be done when you're playing a game. There's so many different avenues to go. And, when I was talking to you a few days ago, you were just talking about all the different things, mm-hmm. in the basketball arena. Now, mm-hmm. tell us, how did you get started with this program? What made you start this program?
Well, being from Buffalo, I went to Buffalo Traditional High School, and I had an opportunity to play 3 years of varsity basketball, played at Erie Community College, went on a Purchase College, which is about 20 minutes outside for 2 years as well. But I've always been hit with, you too little, too little, too little, too little. And I understand that to some extent, but at the same time, I never really heard much about my game. I've always heard that you just smoke. But at the same time, I've always felt that my coach didn't provide opportunities for me that I felt he should have, with just making a phone call. If it's to a Division III school, if it's a junior college, it does not matter. I felt that a high school basketball coach's job is to provide opportunities. So if the high school basketball coaches are not providing those opportunities, Total Package will step in and provide those opportunities. And I have collaborated with other programs to make sure that we do it correctly and make sure we provide everything that's needed for the youth. Through 7th through 12th grade, I've connected with the STEP program, which is academic and enrichment program through Buffalo State College. The director name is Daryl Carter, a very good friend of mine, who really provides a lot of academic enrichments, visiting colleges, tutorial services, and a lot of things that's needed in academics. I've also collaborated with a young man, well, he's not a young man, yeah. Teddy McDuffie, who runs the Legacy of Champions organization, who deals with life coaches, who provides opportunities to train men that want to be coaches, who are interacting with people, young men, young people, period, not just young men, but young ladies as well, and be able to be life coaches, but also be trained in social emotional learning, trauma-informed care, to be able to mentor, but also be able to coach these young men. program, these young men will be your team, but at the same time, it will be like your caseload as far as making sure these kids develop and grow to be positive young men in the community. So Total Package itself provides the basketball piece. So we have the academic piece by STEP, we have life skills by Legacy of Champions, and you have the basketball piece, which develops the ball players through Total Package. So what I'm trying to do is eventually build a school. That's the ultimate goal, is to have my own school. Change the curriculum a little bit, but I'm bringing all these entities together is to build a school. So when a college coach is asking about a kid, I'm actually able to speak to not only his basketball game, but his social emotional, where he is, where his family, those kind of things, but also his academics. So I'm able to give a full assessment of a young man when a college coach is asking. Because when a college coach asks, the first two questions they're gonna ask is, how's his grades?
Right.
And what kind of family does he come from?
Right.
And what are those issues that you maybe have to deal with? And if you're able to truly speak to that, then that helps with recruiting. That brings credibility to the program, and let college coaches know, other high school kids know that, oh, okay, that's a good program. I got an opportunity with Total Package. So I really want to kind of change the narrative, bring college coaches to the city of Buffalo, recruit the talent. It's not whether it's Division I, it doesn't matter. It's college basketball players in this town.
Right.
Period, the end. The only issue with Buffalo itself is just not enough colleges. And we don't see enough kids that just take advantage of playing college basketball.
Right.
And all we hear about, if a kid doesn't go Division I, then we kind of throw them away. And that's the other end of the program. What about these seniors that really want to play, but are not really given an opportunity? In Buffalo, just the area itself doesn't have a lot of colleges.
Right.
Like the Maryland, D.C. area, a good friend of mine lives in that area who's here helping me now, who's been around for the last 7, 8 years, who's really made a difference in what I'm trying to do. Corey Hawk is a very good friend of mine. He's a real estate broker. But we, just really working with the youth, we trying to make a difference.
Okay.
And that college coaches come into town, and those college coaches seeing these kids. And if a kid is a better player than his level, he will call a friend of his to come recruit that kid. That's really how the game goes. You make phone calls. It's all about relationships. This whole thing is about building relationships. And the kids need to know you have to build relationships in order to truly, that line they hear all the time is not about what you know, it's who you know. Right. Is real.
Right, and it's so true. Like you said, it's not what you know, but it is who you know.
Yes.
Especially, it doesn't matter whatever industry. It could be business, whatever. But it is so important, the environment that we keep, the people that we have around us. So it's good that you're doing a program like this because, you mentor the kids in all aspects of their lives.
You got to put our arms around them. You got to completely, that village is real. It takes a village to raise our kids. And you have to truly put our arms around them. Give them some room to grow. And that's where exposure, the tagline of my program is exposure is everything. You have to expose them to quite a bit. And make sure it's a lot of positive exposure, and they will choose more times than not a good path to go down. But if they don't have a lot of exposure, limited exposure, and they have to make crazy decisions, then that's what you get. But if they get a lot of strong, positive, and able, have the village put their arms around them. A good friend of mine who's part of the program, Kevin McCarthy, who primarily does the training for me, him and Richie Campbell, who was for a long time the all-time leading scorer in Western New York, but now he's the second all-time leading scorer in Western New York. But they provide most of the training for the kids, and they're willing to be in the gyms on a Friday night at 1, 2 o'clock in the morning just because kids want to come play ball. You don't really have that a lot.
Right.
You don't see that, and that's what you need. Some people to make a couple sacrifices in their lives to save some lives, and I guess that's my whole mindset of Total Package, to really make a difference, build a school. And really have it focus on all the jobs that directly relate around high school, college, and professional athletics. And I give you one example, and you and I spoke about this before. The starting salary of an NBA official is over $300,000.
Wow.
We don't we don't even think about that. We don't even, a ref is, oh, he just a ref. But an NBA official has the best seat in the house.
Right, because they determine the game pretty much.
But he enjoyed the game.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But we look at it like he's nothing but a ref. I just use that as an example because these are full-time jobs for NBA officials. And to have that job is a blessing. And really, you got a better chance of being an NBA official or a brain surgeon than being an NBA player. You know what I'm saying? We talked about the numbers as well. There's 450 spots in the NBA. Period. The end.
Wow. So all of these kids, all through all 50 states, thinking they're gonna make it, and the excitement, and probably maybe get past high school and even get to college, but then all of a sudden you get to the NBA and it's 450. That's it.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's it.
So what happens to those other people? What is I know you talked about in your program, you said that what you wanted to do was teach them all aspects of the game, because you talked about some of the different positionings in basketball, around basketball. Like you talked about the agent and stuff like that. So these kids that don't make it in there, you want to give them opportunities in your school to experience the different aspects. So talk about some of those different aspects.
Well, the premise of the school and the main idea of the school is careers. And it's jobs that directly relate around high school, college, and professional athletics.
Okay.
If you play a game that you love, when I finished playing college basketball and I chased my dream for a little while, I realized I wasn't going to get paid to play. I had to figure out what I wanted to do. I do not want to work.
Okay.
I want to stay around the game that I love and make a living if I possibly can. So I figured out coaching, reffing, training, developing talent, helping kids get in school was my way of staying around the game that I love. Now other people want to stay around the game that they love, but they really don't know how. And they think these careers are beyond them. So I want to make sure that people know these careers are not beyond your reach. You could be a program director for an NBA team. You could be promotions. Those are real career jobs. These are, head of security. These are jobs that people really are retiring from, but we don't even know they exist because primarily we don't exposure.
Right, exposure.
Exposure is everything. So I want to provide opportunities, being trainers, being general managers. We have 3 general managers from Western New York that's in the NFL right now.
Okay.
You know what I mean? They all went to St. Francis High School, but I'm just saying from this area, 3 general managers in the NFL that's from Buffalo, from Western New York area.
Yeah.
We need to know these jobs do exist. These are careers that you can pursue. And so that's what Total Package, the other end of Total Package, is to stay around the game that you love, but also make a living.
Right. So you got to have an A and a B plan. And I think that's what happens with a lot of people. I can remember a relationship that I was in when I was a young girl, dating someone who was very good at basketball, but he didn't make it. And, sad to say after that, when he didn't make it because he didn't have a B plan, he turned to other sources and his life kind of went downhill. So that is a great thing that you're going to be doing, as far as with the school, because we really do need school. And I know a lot of times, kids, they go to school sometimes with the idea of mind, I'm going to just play basketball, but they don't see the science behind, the educational part. Like you look at Magic Johnson, how he set himself up. He played basketball, but is one of the most amazing business owners, here, in the Atlanta area, and doing some amazing things within the community, giving back to the, the community as well as back to the game, with the children, invest in them.
But Magic is a perfect example. I went to the NBA office, this is a little while ago, and they have a program directly to take NBA players from off the court to different positions in the NBA. It's up to you to latch on to this program. And they also teach you about your finances. They do all those things. I want to do that before they get to the pro.
Right.
You understand the finances. Corey can teach you about building really a portfolio of real estate without having NBA money. You can do this before you get there. You know what I'm saying? So it's a lot of things that can happen and take place without NBA money. People waiting to get NBA money. That's a dream. Right. For some people, it's a reality, but for most of us, it's a dream. And I go back to the rich, it's 450 spots total.
Wow. So kids, if you are out there, parents, if you are out there and you're trying to get your kids to the NBA, you need to keep that in mind. So you have to do everything you can to invest in your child. We're talking about not just, just the nature of getting them out there playing basketball every day in the summer. No, they have to get a coach, that is really able to teach, how to be able to run, because there's certain ways to certain levels, to be able to keep up with people and, different, procedures. So what is let's talk about the, athletic part of it, the game that you teach, like that your programming teach, that's a lot different than where they would be playing basketball at a school.
Well, a lot of our kids don't necessarily play for any of us that far as a school team. Okay. But the development, first thing you really develop in footwork, fundamentals. You got to be able to know how to move on the court. You have to be able to dribble a basketball. I mean, exceptionally dribble a basketball. And not just think you can show up and play. And you and I spoke about this as well. It's those 10,000 hours. 10 years or 10,000 hours to develop your craft. And Michael Jordan, The Last Dance, whether you like it or not, he spoke throughout the whole thing. I spent time working on my craft. I didn't do a whole lot of other things. I spent time working on my craft. And if that is your goal, whether it's to go pro, or if it's just to play college basketball, or if it's just to be the best player in Western New York, whatever it is, you have to spend that time developing your craft. And if you do not, it shows.
Right. And back to environment, you said also part of working on that craft is who you associate yourself with.
You know what? You have to be around people that understand, that know how to develop the talent. And it happens in the NFL. The kids of guys that play the NBA and NFL have a great chance of making it. And not just because of their name, it's because their parents know exactly what to do to get them to that level. You know what I'm saying? So that all by itself makes a difference. And they will be willing to spend the money to put them in the positions to make that. But even still, it's the time you spend by yourself on that craft. When you go to the park, you in the gym, and even if you don't have a basketball, right now is the perfect example of you really could be developing your ball handler. Okay. You don't need no basket to become a great ball handler. And I'm telling you, Kyrie's a good example, but it's been ball handlers throughout the history of this game, period, the end. If you can't dribble the ball, it shows. And you know what I mean? So those kind of things, you don't need a basket. I tell my players when I coached for 6 years at Tapestry, I was a JV coach at Tapestry High School for 6 years. Man, fundamentals. Corey, I can speak to it every day. Even though we had practice, we doing ball handling drills, free throws. We play defense, slides. If you don't have the fundamentals, you can't play this game. So, and when you talk about the people that's working, I had Kevin McCarley and Richie Cameron does primarily the training. I help out as well. But they do primarily the training, and it's just developing the talent, the time you spend in that gym, your footwork, your ball handling, being able to slide your feet, being able to make good decisions. Those things are important. Be able to play defense. You have to be able to do these things. If you can't think on the court, then, and for me watching The Last Dance, all I really held on to is the time he said he spent working on his craft. And if this man we all been wearing this man's sneakers for ever and a day, and he tells you, I spent time working on my craft.
Yeah. Okay.
But I want to reiterate that, because whatever it is, it's not about just. If you don't spend that time, then you selling yourself short.
Exactly. And also, speaking of working on your craft, like you talked about the emotional experiences, like you guys deal with kids who dealt with trauma. And we have a lot of stuff that's going on in Buffalo. We have, you know, a lot of black on black crime. A lot of times there's a lot of kids in some neighborhoods that have experienced that. How do you help children who've been around that environment get through that, but also be able to focus back on what they love?
It's difficult because they still go back home. As much as we put our arms around them when they're with us, they still got to go back home. And unless they get to a point where they want to do something different, then now we have to connect them with the program. Because I've had kids come say, man, I can't do it. I go back there, I'm not going to make it. So what do you do then? You have to make a phone call, help that kid get to a different situation. But you really try to help him make good decisions, even though they're in those environments. Because they still got to go home. And that's why you want to make sure the social emotional learning piece, the trauma informed care is not just about the kid. It is about the home.
Right.
Because if you helping that kid and not helping the home, then you're not really doing, you're not really doing what you're supposed to do. But you have to help the home in order for that kid to truly grow as well. So to answer your question, it is difficult, but we have to reach out to that family. If it becomes a scenario or a situation where that family needs help, then we have to help that whole family in order for that kid to grow as well.
So give me a real life experience of someone, you know, that came to your program and that was, you know, went through a lot and probably thought, it probably looked like it was gonna work out, but it was a turnaround.
How much time we got? I mean, because that is the program.
Right.
That is the program. A kid coming in, I didn't have a lot of kids that came into high school with a lot of hoopla and hype. I had to develop the talent. So I had a kid, Paytwan Jennifer, who developed. I had a kid, Christian Russell, who developed. They came in with one ideology of how the game was played, and I helped them develop themselves to where they can play college basketball. Dorian Plummer had to develop. These guys really, my conversation with them is that whether you're with me or somebody else, or primarily need to work on your craft. That, I mean, just the time you have to spend. I make phone calls, like I was talking about, if they need some services. Man, this kid needs help, his family needs help, and I make the phone calls for the kid to get in college. Prep school, junior college, Division III, it does not matter. I'm willing to make that phone call. I feel like it's my job and my duty to make that phone call. Now, if the kid don't take advantage of it, like this past year, I had 3 kids at Adirondack Community College. The coach that recruited and signed these kids got fired 2 weeks before school started. The school honored the signings, but at the same time, it wasn't the same situation. So now I got 3 kids. One kid came in January that I didn't know. He didn't go in September. He came in January to play. Another kid, financial situation didn't work out. Another kid started playing in January. So 2 of them started playing in January, but it was a process to getting bills cleared up at other schools, making sure they got housing, making sure they got a meal plan. Because a lot of times these kids are not coming from a good structured situation. So I'm taking them to the school. I have someone, we driving to the school. We making sure the paperwork is filled out, the Say Yes application, the FAFSA application, making sure they have housing, making sure they got a meal plan. So it's the whole
programming.
Man,
total package. Total package.
Total package. That's the idea of really developing the talent on and off the court.
Awesome. So now how would someone be able to register a child to be in your program? And how long does that program actually last?
Well, 7th through 12th graders. We're dealing with young men right now, primarily young men, 7th through 12th grade. They're coming through the STEP program. Right now, we primarily recruiting kids that just want to participate. We're not shutting down any kid. Any young man that want to participate, he's more than willing. You can sign up for the program, get in touch with me through 716-812-8580. 812-8580. You can reach me directly. We can figure out a time. I don't know as far as COVID-19, how that's going to work as far as being able to get into a gym. But we can go outside when they put the rims up. We can develop without a basket. Like I was saying, we can still move and still do things. So, just 716-812-8580. 8580, Total Package Sports.
Okay, and do you also have a website that people can tune into?
Yes, I do. The website is tps716.org. tps716.org.
And if anybody wants to invest, people who are helping out with grants, how can they
reach out? You can reach out with those same information. I'm looking for help with finding grants, not just government grants, but other entities that deal with social emotional learning, that deal with trauma informed care, and basketball is the caring, And if anyone is interested in supporting the program, please reach out. We're looking for investors. The goal is to build a school. That is the ultimate goal, is to have a school with a curriculum based upon high school, college, and professional athletics.
All right, that was Mr. Kenneth Ferguson with 716 Total Package. Make sure, like I said, you get your kids involved in it. Investors, if you're out there, these kids need help. They need help to be able to finance. Like I said, he goes all the way for these children. Now, you talking about that we have problem with our kids in Buffalo, New York, and just hanging out on the streets. Well, this is a way to get them out on the street, get off the streets, and get them with good people that are going to help them to really understand and define themselves and find themselves. So once again, this is Denise Anntonette with Reflections of You, and I look forward to talking to you next Saturday from 3:30 to 4 p.m. Bye-bye.